I want to be remembered by someone that embraced the culture. Safa bashes starters, says they're not good. And I looked over at Kudo and all I said was finger up. I said, one more, I got it. Everyone just complete silence. Man, that year, a lot of people don't realize off the field was probably the hardest year for me. My wife was sick. I'm going to start throwing here soon to see if I can actually throw and pitch in a game. And
So talk about 2017 season and especially Nippon series. That was the moment. But you talked about August, right? Sometimes pitching kind of starting pitch a little bit didn't go wrong enough. So you didn't mean that, but kind of somehow people took it away.
It's known as the infamous Kyocera Dome game. I was supposed to have an off day. Iwasaki-san had an off day, and we were just gonna patchwork it together. If it was a save situation, Yuito was gonna be the closer, or I would be the closer if it was a save. But if it wasn't a save, they were gonna try to use other guys. And so I said, yeah, no problem. I needed a day off. We were overworked. The game just so happened to come down where we tied it in the 9th or the 8th, and then it went extras. And they came to me in the 10th inning. They said, would you throw the 11th if we're still tied or winning? And I said, yeah, because the options were to throw a young kid out there. I forgot who was left. Mori had pitched, everyone had pitched, and it was going to be Sho Iwasaki. And I said, no, he needs a day off. And so I said, sure. I went in there in the 11th inning, struck the first guy out. Stephen Romero came up, first pitch curveball, home run, walked it off. I got the loss. And, in Japanese culture, as soon as the game's over, you get to go walk to the bus. And the media was right there. And I was probably still a little heated from the game, playing it over in my head and going through the motions. And I said something to the effect of, we need the starters to go deeper in the games. We're tired. They need to pick us up. And it got twisted into Sarfate bashes starters, says they're not good and they need to do better. And it wasn't like that at all. And I remember working out the next day with Uito. I got back to the hotel and my interpreter called me and said, hey, Kudo-san wants to talk to you in his hotel room. And I said, okay, yeah, no problem. And I remember going in there and just laying out, this is what happened. And we talked about it. And I went up to every starting pitcher that day at the field. Because, Japanese players, they read the newspaper, right? First thing they do is they read the articles. And I went up to each and every one of them and apologized, said, that's not what I intended to come out. Here's what I meant. And it was good. It was over from that.
So you talked to pretty much every starting pitcher and also Kudo-san.
I went up to every starting pitcher and I told them, hey, this is exactly what I said. And it's not the way it sounded in the paper. And I wanted to make sure you guys know that I respect you guys. We're tired. We need you guys. You guys are all studs. You guys need to do your job and go 5 innings or more. And if we can do that, we're going to be successful. And it was after that game, the starting pitchers went off. It was like 7 innings a start, 6 innings a start. And our team was super good because if we got 6 innings from the starter, 7, 8, 9 was over. It was Yuito, Iwasaki, Kayama, then me, and it was over. So I was just asking them, hey, do the best you can to get 6 innings in. And they did, and they turned it around. And the rest of that season, it was like our fire. Like and people always talked about it. Like that was the turning point, the momentum switch for the season was that game.
Did you feel like maybe like a lost in translation?
Sure.
Have you experienced that kind of moment of not only that case, but while you're in Japan?
Not really. I mean, the questions are usually pretty straightforward. And listen, I might have been, like I said, I just got the loss. And so I might have been a little bit more aggressive in my tone and how I was saying the things, which might have been the, hey, he's really mad and we need to figure this out kind of tone. But, guys make mistakes sometimes right after a battle like that, right? You're going to say things that sometimes I regret saying that. I shouldn't have said that. But for the most part, the team, they embraced it. And it really changed the trajectory of our season. I think the rest of the way, a lot of people said that was the turning point.
Yeah, exactly. I feel so, yeah, same way too. So, and then Nippon series that you also talked about the other day, that game 6,
Yeah.
if you lost, you felt not going to be able to recover game 7.
Yeah, that was tough. We were up
Yeah.
3-0. We go and lose game 4. Then we lose game 5. If we lose game 6, the momentum was totally on Yokohama's side. We were starting to be defeated. We knew that Imanaga still had the pitch game 6. They still had another lefty that was pretty good. That was going to go game 7. And our guys were tired, like we thought we had it in the bag. Sometimes that can happen. You go up 3-0 and you let down a little bit, like, oh, we're going to win this. It's over, right? Like, we're going to win tomorrow. And it was like win, and like, oh, this series is 3-2 now. If we lose this game, I even said it in the bullpen. I said, if we lose today, tomorrow is going to be one heck of a game, because it would be 3-3. Winner takes it all, and our back's against the wall now because we had lost 3 games in a row. So that was the game. We had to win that game.
Yeah, in time, you kind of keep going back to the mound. Same time, oh, I'm not gonna able to pitch to next day.
Yeah,
same dilemma, right?
That was the thing. If I went out in the 11th, I got a quick inning, but I thought if I go 4 innings, we win. Like if we finish in a tie, we're good. But I also thought, okay, I'm on my 4th inning. I haven't done this in a long time. And if I face 2, 3, 4, because that's who was coming up, Kajitani, Lopez, Tsutsugo, that's going to be a tough inning for me, tired. Let's get a new arm in there. Let's get Takeda in there with good stuff, get that inning. If we tie, we win, right? We were the win. We were going to win. So my thing was, if we lose, am I going to be able to pitch tomorrow? And I don't know if I could. I mean, of course I would have, because that was my job. And I just think that they expected me to be ready always. And it was the last game of the year, right? You win, you go home. You lose, you go home. It doesn't matter. So I would have pitched, but it would have been not me at 100%, right? It would have been a lot of icy hot on the arm, maybe a couple of Advil taken, because I had thrown 3 innings. So it was definitely the way it ended with Keizo just walking us off. We couldn't have asked for a better time for a walk, and pure luck, right? Like, Akira's out at home any day of the week. I mean, he was out by 10 feet, but that ball hits the bounces over the catcher's head, and it was like, thank God it's over.
Yeah, at the time, the moment, I mean, life field playing pretty shallow.
Yeah, Japanese style, right? Base hit through the hole, center fielder for up the middle, left fielder between 3rd and short, right fielder between 1st and 2nd. Right. You have a shot at getting the guy at home. That's what Japanese baseball's all about. And so you have not the fastest guy. It wasn't like it was Shuto on 2nd and he's going to score on anything. Yes, he's running on contact. There's 2 outs, but if he gets thrown out at the plate, what a letdown. And that just gives them more momentum. And I hate to think of what would have happened, because I don't like to play that, but it would have definitely been a battle.
But every time you go to the mound, so of course you want to win, and came back to the dugout. Hey, then you kept told, Kudo-san, hey, I go one more in. I go one more.
Yeah.
How's the conversation like? Do you remember any conversation you had with Kudo-san?
I know after the 9th inning, obviously right away, tie game, they came over, they do the signal, tie game, you go back out. And I'm like, of course. So I'm playing catch with 1 out in the 9th, bottom of the 9th, just in case. Then Uchi hit the home run. So right away I know, okay, I'm in the game, and that's okay. Once I got done with that inning, I felt like they probably thought I was done. And so when I came in, my adrenaline's flowing. I want to win this game, right? And I remember walking in the dugout, and I sensed that they were going to come over and say, good job. And I looked over at Kudo, and all I said was, finger up. I said, one more, I got it. And he kind of looked at the pitching coach, and then they kind of looked at the bench coach, and then they said, okay, you got it. And I remember going into the clubhouse to take a breather, because it's hot, right? In the dome, it gets a little stale, humid, you're sweat. I'm pitched 2 innings. And I remember going into the clubhouse, everyone's like, hey, Denny, good job, good job. And I'm like, no, I go one more. Complete silence. Everyone just complete silence. I don't know if they were nervous because I have never gone 3 innings as a reliever there. Or if it was just like, oh, we don't want to mess with him, leave him alone. But I remember telling guys, yeah, one more inning and yeah, complete silence. And then when I got done with the third inning, everyone, okay, now he's done. If I would have went back out, I think a lot of people would have probably been a lot more nervous than I was.
You remember the 2017, you want to say?
Man, that year, you know, a lot of people don't realize off the field was probably the hardest year for me. My wife was sick. I had left earlier in the year to go back she had a procedure done. I didn't see my kids for, 4 or 5 months. It was one of those off the field every night. I was talking to her all the time on the phone. I would go warm up, go call her, warm up, go call her. After the game, call her. So the baseball part of it was easy for me. It was like my chance to detach and have fun and be around the guys. And so as easy as that season might have looked, like the numbers, 54 saves, a 1 ERA, 100 strikeouts, it was quite fun and easy because my off the field stuff with my wife's health was taking such a toll on me. I was so stressed out. When my wife and family came out, Kudo-san, when we clinched, he allowed me to stay back in Fukuoka for a road trip. They went to Sendai. We were already finished in first place. It was over. And he said, why don't you hang out with your family for a couple of days? Go to Chikugo, play catch, go home. And so I got to take my daughters to the field. I got to do all of that. And so it was one of those things where I just really enjoyed it.
All right, probably one last question. So, how you want to be remembered by fans? What you have done? What people in 10 years, 20, what you could do? Yeah.
I wanna be remembered by someone that embraced the culture. I love Japan like it's my second home. I spent more time there in 11 years than I did in my own house in America. I also want to be remembered most importantly by how I conducted myself off the field, who I was as a person, the charity work that my wife and I did to bring in families that were affected by the Kumamoto earthquake, and the different things that we did for my first couple of years. Not many people know this, but the Sendai, or when that stuff happened in Fukushima, I gave money per save to an organization that helped fund kids go to college that might have lost their family in Fukushima. And so I would want to be remembered as being charitable and loving to the Japanese people, the culture, my teammates. I would want to go down from my teammates' point. I would want to be known as a good teammate that would do everything for the better of the team, that I wasn't selfish, that they respected me for the work I did. And the fans, of course, for just working hard and doing everything I could to bring a championship to Fukuoka every time I took the mound. Every time I closed the game, it wasn't just about me getting the save, but it was one win closer to winning everything. And so, of course, that's what everyone wants to be known by, right? I want to be known by how good I was. Well, that's great, but I bet you people forget stats, right? Like, who was the MVP 5 years ago in the MPB? You don't remember. Yeah. Like, people forget stats, right? You forget awards. The greatest award I ever got was the Shiriki Award. And I believe that was something that I'll cherish forever, because it meant more than just your stats and what you did on the field. It was more about who you were as a person and what you brought to the country. And that's what I would want to be known for.
Yeah, you just kind of told me you're kind of preparing for put all your history together as biography, right?
Yeah. So that is, sure. That is almost done. My dad's a writer, so he wrote it for me. I just told him what I wanted, and he wrote it down as I was speaking to him, and we kind of put a little twist on it. We actually changed the beginning. The beginning starts with me just getting home from the last trip to celebrate Mr. O. And it kind of goes all from that chapter, the opening chapter, kind of goes all the way back to the beginning of my time in professional baseball, to the point where I get to Japan, my success in Japan, to the final injury that ended my career. That is how the book's going to flow. It's going to be in Japanese. I want it to be in Japanese. I think it's something that the Japanese people would embrace and like to enjoy, learn more about who I was as a player, as a person off the field, about my faith and stuff like that. So we are in the process of looking for a publishing company in Japan that would want to publish a book about me. Maybe they don't want to, maybe nobody wants to, and I'll try and do it here and get it over there. But it's something that I really want to do, because I just want the fans to be able to get an inside look into who I was as a person, not just what I did on the field for the ninth inning.
Well, probably it took so a long time, huh? I mean, to talk about whole career.
Yeah, and some of the early parts are, with the way we did the chapters, we just hit on little things that were important. But for most of it, the longer chapters are the Japanese, like 2017, that season, 16, my failures in that and losing all those tie games. And then obviously 14. So a lot of it is, the main chapters are the Fukuoka times, but there is a couple of chapters on the times with Hiroshima and also Cebu.
All right. Thanks for everything, man.
Of course. I love it. And I'm going to start throwing here soon to see if I can actually throw and pitch in a game, and we'll go from there.